Bit of breaking news that has just come in. Right now, the Iranian state media is telling the people of Iran that the Ayatollah has been killed. Again, Iran's state-run media is now confirming that the Ayatollah has been killed. Earlier, we had reported this, citing President Trump, citing leaders in Israel, as well the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, first announcing this. But now we have it even from the Iranians.
Hello my people, welcome to another exciting episode. In this video we'll be hearing a confirmation of prophecy from our prophet Uebert angel, where he discussing a rhetoric escalation between Iran, America and Israel. And it's no longer news that Ayatollah has been killed a few days ago by the American military. So I would like you to watch this and hear for yourself what the prophecy is all about. Then we'll be talking and discussing more on that.
Get to the Middle East. Israel and Iran, I saw escalation rhetoric. Escalation. But in that escalation, I saw America at the top of it. The strength of the Islamic regime in Iran is falling. And I saw even Iran itself, as it were, in a star-spangled banner being given to someone. As I saw Greenland is what I saw with Iran.
To the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
So it'll be like it's given overnight, but they didn't get it. It's like it's lost overnight. The strength of the Islamic regime in Iran is falling.
Now I'll be showing you some few attacks even before Ayatollah was killed by Israel and USA on the Iranians. So this has happened, but yet Ayatollah refuses to make peace with US according to their ordinance and what they were asking him, because a lot of times Trump has given him a space to negotiate, but he refused. He has claimed not to want any peace dialogue with the US. Now listen to this and watch this even before his death.
Chief counsel for the House Judiciary Committee, there's always blowback, Julian, on Capitol Hill whenever a president takes any military action without the express approval of Congress. I suppose we're likely to see that here.
Well, John, thanks for having me on. I'm not quite sure about that. In the last year of the Obama administration in 2016, Obama dropped 26,000 bombs in 7 countries. Do the math on that. That's multiple bombs per hour every day of the entire year of the last presidency. And there wasn't a peep from anyone on the Democratic side or on the Republican side. Joe Biden dropped bombs in multiple different countries. There wasn't a peep about the war powers. I think the president, as a legal matter, if he were to recognize the war powers stricture, he could go back to the authorization several decades ago after the 9/11 attack. But I think more importantly, that is a non-starter issue. I think I don't think the courts would step in. So I just don't. I think that is besides the point. And it's unfortunate that Congressman Massey is saying this. He's an outlier on the Republican side. I don't think he represents anyone more than himself. I think the Republicans will support this, and I think a lot of Democrats will support this. Iran has been declaring open war against the United States since 1979, and their goal is to globalize the international holy war and international terrorism. They do that through 3 ways. One is the nuclear threat, which they have been vigorously trying to build for decades. The second is the ballistic capability, which could overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome defense because of the sheer size and capacity of the new weapons they're developing. And 3 is the sponsoring of the surrogate armies and terrorism all over the world. The Houthis, the Hezbollah, Hamas. And so Iran has been at war with the United States for decades. When Barack Obama naively signed the nuclear deal with Iran back in the 2010s, the first thing Iran did after it received pallets of cash from the United States was to go out and start assassinating Americans and assassinating Europeans. And I think for the most part, Western leaders, including presidents of the United States, and I'm pointing directly at Obama and Biden, have been played as chumps on this. Iran has never been serious about negotiating not just the nuclear issue, but the ballistic issue and the international terrorism issue that they support. And they have been, they have lied about it. And we have tried everything under the sun, John. We have tried economic sanctions. We've tried international organizations like the IAEI. We've tried partial strikes. Nothing has worked to change the maniacal will of this regime, whose professed ideology, John, if you look at what they say, and if you look at what their surrogate armies say, like Hamas, their goal is to massacre as many Israeli civilians as possible. There is not much difference between the Iranian regime and Adolf Hitler in terms of its goals and in terms of its ethno-nationalist, racist ideology. So what I think Donald Trump is doing is heroic. I think if this is successful, it will be something that could qualify him once again for a Nobel Peace Prize. And I think it's very, very long overdue. And what the Iranian people really want here by a factor of 80, 90% is they want to get rid of the mullahs. They want to get rid of the ayatollahs who have been repressing and enslaving them for decades. Women are killed in Iran if they don't wear a hijab, at least until recently. Political protesters, we've seen as many, according to some reports, as 100,000 have been massacred. And yet, unfortunately, you don't hear from the progressive left any protest, any peep, any objection, even though you're seeing civilians intentionally massacred by an ethno-nationalist regime. And I think what Donald Trump is doing, as he's been doing in so many areas in foreign policy, is occupying the political center. And he's saying we're not going to be played by as chumps anymore. We are going to take this action as a legitimate act of self-defense. We're going to do this with Israel. And in the process, hopefully, what this is going to do is cause the regime to fall, because if we do that, we will be seen as liberators. We will be seen as liberators of a great Iranian and Persian people who have a remarkable tradition, who are highly educated, who are mostly pro-Western, and who want the right to self-determination so they can rebuild the greatness that was once ancient Persia. You know, you'll remember, John, that it was the Persians that freed the Jews from slavery by the Babylonians in the 5th century before Christ, King Cyrus. And the historical poetic justice here is that Israel is now, hopefully, returning the favor by working with the United States to liberate the Iranian people, the great Persian tradition, although there are many ethnicities, obviously, in Iran. Persians are about 50%. They are now hopefully liberating this wonderful, glorious people with a glorious past from the yoke of tyranny and violent oppression that has been visited on them since 1979. So I think what Trump is doing is courageous. I think he will get a lot of support. He should get bipartisan support. I don't think the war powers is going to be relevant to anyone. It's been honored in the breach for decades. And what we could be seeing here is the most significant realignment in the balance of power in the Middle East than we have seen in our lifetime. If the regime, if the Islamist radicals that are running the Iranian regime, if that regime falls and we get to a sort of more pro-Western democratic regime, this will be the most significant geopolitical event, perhaps in our lifetime. And again, I think what the administration is doing here is courageous. I think it's legally justified. I think it's morally justified. I think it's strategically justified. And it's about time that the West woke up and said, we're not going to be played as chumps anymore. And if you try to destroy us and our allies, we are going to we're going to make you pay a severe price.
As you point out, they have been chanting "Death to America." I mean, it's part of their official, governmental policy, "Death to America." And finally, President Trump is taking them seriously, taking that threat seriously.
Well, it's not just that they say it, John, they do it. I mean, the irony was that, Obama, when he signed the JCPOA, he really believed that if we just simply treated Iran nicely, gave it a bunch of cash, told the rest of the Arab world that they needed to, quote, share the neighborhood with Iran, that Iran would end up being just like us. That was the idea. They're just like us if we just treat them nicely, and they will join the rules-based international order. And it was naive. It was hopelessly naive because, as I say, the moment that agreement was signed, Iran went out and started sponsoring the assassinations of Americans and Europeans who were part of the agreement as well, all over the world. And at the moment that Jake Sullivan, right before October 7th, gave this, wrote this lengthy article saying the Middle East was as peaceful as it had been in decades. The left has been incredibly naive about Iran and the intentions of the extremists in the Mideast who want to destroy the West. And they have really believed that an appeasement strategy would work. They are the Neville Chamberlains, the contemporary Neville Chamberlains. And there's all the evidence in the world that Iran was never serious about negotiation and would continue this holy war against the West, would continue to kill Americans, would continue to try to commit genocide against Israel, and would do it in the most brutal of ways. I mean, without Iran, Hamas would never have been able to do the brutally grotesque things that it did October 7th, the burning and beheading of babies, the unspeakable crimes that were committed against women, that, again, much of the progressive left never raised an objection to, or certainly not a sufficient objection to. And I think what Donald Trump is doing is saying that, again, the West is not going to be played by chumps. We want constructive relationships in the Arab world. You saw him do that in his trips earlier this year. I think it was in May when he went to Saudi Arabia and he visited a number of other Arab countries, and he sought to develop business relationships moving forward. And there's a big swath, particularly the secular Arab states, that want to do business with the West and would rather be in business with the West as opposed to fighting and being at war with the West. And Donald Trump has done a miraculous job in forging those relationships. So there's a big swath in the Middle East that rejects the jihadism, but there are plenty that don't. And Iran is one of the countries that doesn't. And I think today the chickens are coming home to roost. They're paying the bill for it. And as I say, not only is this legally justified, strategically justified, morally justified, but what the United States and Israel could be doing here is liberating a people, 90 million people, that include the Persians, the Turkmens, the Kurds. There's a large number of ethnic groups inside Iran, could be liberating all of these folks from what has been the most oppressive and violent tyranny that's been visited upon them since 1979.
Let's hope this is a new dawn for Iran. Julian Epstein, the former chief counsel for the House Judiciary Committee. Julian, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.